Today we got a 4020. Needs a clutch. I went out and diagnosed this one a while ago. PTO clutch is completely shot. This tractor lives its life on an auger. So that explains that. Good old 4020. There is a million of these out there. Some say this is the tractor that built the American ag industry. I don't know. It had a big part, but I think there's better tractors out there. I think John Deere had a little bit of help with some of the other manufacturers building America's ag industry. Anyways, these are not a hard tractor to split, but you have to split it to do the clutch because the clutch is right in here. I'll explain more of that as I get it apart. Hopefully I can show you how it works and stuff like that. I don't know, what else do I need to say about this one? It's a John Deere. They built the North American ag industry. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I guess that's it. To split one of these tractors, you got to start somewhere. In this case, it's starting at the hood. We got to get the hood off. So that means the air cleaner comes off first. Fuel cap, rad cap, side shields, so you can unbolt the hood there and here. We still have the nameplate on this side, so that cover is going to come off. We can get the hood off underneath there. Then we can unbolt the hood there, and then the hood will slide up over top of the muffler. I leave the muffler on there. It's too much work to take that thing off. These air cleaners, they're really frustrating to get off because the pipe goes down to your breather inside here, the filter, and well, you just can't really get in there. Or you can come over to this side and, well, you just can't really get in there. Yeah. So most of the time when these hoods have been off before, guys put them back together and they leave that air stack loose. Yep, that one's loose, so I should be able to just pull it out of there. Yes! Under the hood has these levers with pins that go up with a cross in them. And so they're in a slot, and when you flip this over, that slot turns and then this can lift up. So the front is pinned. At the back, you have these bolts you have to undo, and then this whole hood just slides up and under there. You don't want to get a bunch of junk in your fuel tank or in your rad. So while the hood is off, as soon as the hood is off, put your caps back on there. Now we got some other stuff here that needs to get apart. We have a throttle linkage here that needs to be disconnected. We got some wiring running along the engine. It's got to get disconnected. Oil pressure sensor in behind there has got to come off. And then we've got these lines here. So this is your main hydraulic pump pressure line. And this tractor has one solid line right down in underneath the cover. The pump is underneath there. So that means it has to get disconnected right here. And behind there we got our connection. So that one's gonna get disconnected there. The steering lines, which are the smaller ones, they're gonna get disconnected down here. And these brackets taken off, and then they can kind of swing out of the way. And this return line is gonna get disconnected right there. So that's all gonna be split. This bracket will come apart and those lines will all be loose there. We're missing our hose clamp here. There should be a hose clamp around here securing all those lines, and this one I see is basically off of there too. We'll fix that up when we put the tractor back together, put that back proper. And it kind of looks like the oil cooler and stuff is pretty messy here, so we might, when I get it back together, I might pressure wash this all yet. If it's not too terribly cold outside, then we can do that. Okay, tack cable here also comes off. On this side, we got starter wiring, and we don't have to worry about the SCV blocks. These are your SCV blocks for the hydraulics. That's your pressure lines. We don't have to worry about those. And the reason is because they are bolted to the firewall, and these lines go down in underneath there. So there's nothing to take apart here. I'm not a big 4020 guy, but that is not a lot of work to get the tractor split. I mean, we don't even have to disconnect a fuel line. That's awesome. And it's got no cabs, so we don't have to do coolant. Won't take long to get this guy split. Anyways, I'll get to all that stuff, and then we got a couple more lines I'll talk about, and then we'll go from there. with the shape that these connectors are in, I don't imagine that the electrical system was working too well on this one. Woof. Okay, I said I was going to talk about a couple more lines once I got this all done up to this point. These ones are apart here, and that one is apart there, so now the tractor will split away that way with those lines. Now we also have this one here. That's your bleed line from down inside there. Runs along the frame like this, so we got to get that one disconnected so we can split the tractor right here. And we have this one here. This is the main hydraulic pressure that runs from the pump to the back of the tractor for the 3-point hitch and everything else. So this one's going to get undone right here, undo that clamp, and then we kind of have to pry this to the side as we roll the tractor apart, because this always wants to hook on that right there, that housing. So okay, let's do that then. Well, the other day I was working on this and I never got finished splitting it because I got called away again. So where did we leave off here? I think I got everything. Yeah, it looks like I got everything on this side done. Hydraulic lines, that's all done. So I just got split bolts on this side, it looks like. And this side looks much the same. I got my wiring off. Don't have to do those lines, don't have to do the SCVs, that stuff there is done. Yeah, so looks like, oh yeah, even that one is done there. So it looks like I can just go ahead and throw the splitting stands underneath, pull the split bolts, and I should be able to roll this guy apart then. Okay, where are those splitting stands? Oh, here they are. Get this stuff out of the way. All right. All right, this one, I think we can go right there. Okay. I'll get a jack that leaks down, put underneath here so that I can fight with that the whole time. I built these splitting stands years ago for doing this kind of stuff. The one that usually goes in the back doesn't have wheels because you don't need to move it. The front one has wheels that I kind of put in there like that. And both of them just have cheapo jacks for lifting. Now, I have a whole bunch of extra of these that can bolt together to make them higher and lower. But does not look like I have enough room to put a second one on there. So I'm going to have to probably just throw a piece of dunnage in there, scrap wood, and see if I can get that a little higher, and then I should be able to just pull the split bolts out. Yeah, this one should work. Oh, not quite. It's too fat. I must have another one around here somewhere. Yeah, there we go, that'll work. Stacking them up like that when they're not secured is not a good idea. But that's what I have today. So when I roll this apart, I just want to watch this and make sure it's not like sliding. That would be bad. We don't need no accidents. And speaking of accidents, I learned from my mistakes once. You never ever split a tractor without putting wedges over the axle, because otherwise what can happen is the tractor can come out and it can tip to the side. And it can only go so and so far, but that's usually enough to get it off your jacks and fall on the floor. That happened to me once. That will never happen to me again. So these are just, it's just wood that's cut at an angle like that, and you just jam them in there, and then the tractor can't move it. Same thing on this side. There. That axle pivots. Now it's solid. Can't pivot, then the tractor, this section of the tractor can't roll over. Okay. Now, we'll get a little pressure on these jacks. Oh, maybe I need to close this first. That's helpful. Okay. Lifting. Lifting. All right, whoop. Hey, I need that. Okay. A little bit of pressure on there. A little bit of pressure on the back. Now we'll get these bolts out of here. Oh, I'm losing too much power through my wobble joint. These bolts are really tight. It works better if you grunt. Yeah, see, look at that. That was easy. Yeah, I'll take these smaller bolts out first, now that the big ones are loose. One there, one here. Uh-oh. Looks like I have to do that one with a wrench. Are you kidding me? I have to use a wrench? Can't use a power tool? Oh, John Deere, what were you thinking? Of course, I could take the blow-by tube off and that would get it out of the way. And then I could use a socket. But that sounds like a lot of work. Wrench is probably going to be just quicker, easier. Because then I got to put the blow-by tube back in if I take it off. Right now I don't need to take it off. There, that bolt's out too. Now we'll get this guy under here. Put him in reverse. There's that one. There, and this one. Oh, look at that, we're already losing stuff here. Okay. Okay, this side I should be able to get them both with just the impact. One, two. Okay, now let me change sockets and we'll get those ones out. That is not a very nice angle. Gotta check the threads on that one. That bolt came out sure hard. That's more like it. All right, now the other side. Oh yeah, the split line is right here, and you can see how it's already starting to split there. So I'll throw a bar on the other side so you can watch this side. See how it goes. Okay, there's my bar. Let's see what we can do here. This, look at that. It's just coming right apart. Make sure that bottom is rolling properly and not just sliding. Come on, tractor. Yep. Oh yeah. This pipe over here gives me trouble every time. Okay, if I get this down there with a bit of leverage. Oh, I'm getting stuck. Try here. Oh, it really wants to roll backwards. It's the problem with this floor here is it's downhill. So I'm going to need a little bit of help here. Yeah, we're gonna roll the front ahead. I have it split already part way, so go the other tire and we're gonna push it forward. Oh, hang on. This thing is catching on me here. How does it even do that? Really? Get out of here. Okay, ready? Yep. Good. Let's just have a look here. Oh, I forgot to do the temperature. All right, there we go. I'll get you a better view of this when I get some light. There's our PTO clutch and our traction clutch in very bad shape. I can tell from here. Well, plus I already know because I already diagnosed this tractor like a month ago. But anyways, I did forget to take the sensor out for coolant temperature. So good thing we have lots of slack in that wire there, but I'm going to need to drain some coolant and take that thing out yet. Yay, it's low on coolant, so no coolant is even coming out of there. That makes my job a little easier right now. Draining coolant always sucks. Let's just roll this ahead a little ways more. This is all free here. Seems like it. Okay, ready? That thing does not like to roll on this floor. Okay, again. Yep. Whoop, whoop, good. That's far enough. That is far enough. Okay, perfect. Now, let's have a look at this clutch. All right, so a couple of years ago, this customer called me up and he said, the clutch won't disengage on my tractor. I push it in, it won't disengage. So I took this cover off on the bottom and a whole bunch of water came running out of there, like almost a gallon of water, seemed like a ton of water. And so it was all froze up. So we were able to get that thing freed. It was rusted together. And now this year he said the PTO brake doesn't work and PTO is starting to slip. So I came and I pulled that cover off again and I looked inside here and you can see how these fingers are just wore right off. These ones are the PTO fingers and then these ones on the inside are the ones for your traction clutch, and that's how they should look, but these PTO ones are just gone. So it needs a new pressure plate. So obviously we're going to do clutches, machine the flywheel, do all that stuff right away. And then we have our release bearings here, which this one is for the traction clutch and it's not bad. But this PTO one, I don't know if you can hear that. It's really rough. So we're going to do release bearings and a full clutch. Get this thing tuned right up again. I'm going to pull this thing apart. And to do that, we have these locking tabs on here. They have to get folded over on all these bolts. And then I can take those bolts out, take the pressure plate off, and then all the clutches and everything will all come out of there with it. So we're going to start with that. So find my hammer. To do something like that, you can use a punch or a chisel. I use my small pry bar. It works really good for this for me. The bend on there is just awesome for this. It gives me a really nice angle to be able to get the tip underneath and bend those things over. There. Okay, one more. This guy. Yeah, if you get a good angle, then it comes off pretty easy. Next up, we're going to pull those out, those bolts out. What is that, a 9/16? I think so, eh? So I'm going to take one out of here, and then I'm going to go and get a dowel, I think. All right, I got my dowel. This is just a bolt that I cut the top off of and then put a slot in it so I can get it out later. You don't have to put a dowel in here, but I'm only one person, so it makes it easier to pull this apart if you have something to kind of hold it on there. So this will hold it from falling off while I take all the rest of these bolts out. You can see it springing apart already. Okay, this one, the last two, take a little bit off of one side, a little bit off the other, a little off the other, and just kind of walk it off of there. So that way the bolt doesn't break and you have this whole thing slapping the face, because this is under pressure, under spring pressure when you take it apart. So not like oodles and oodles, but there is pressure there. Okay, now we just jiggle the thingy, and this should come off just like that. There's your clutch disc. that is for the traction clutch. Doesn't even look that bad. Wow, it doesn't look that bad at all. I mean, it's war, but honestly, I was expecting worse. Yeah, just the old woven clutch disc. So there's a new updated version that is pads. That's like the heavy-duty version. If you have a loader on your tractor, that's what you'd want. This one is just going to get a woven clutch again because this tractor doesn't do any hard loader work, hard clutching. It's a PTO tractor primarily, so I don't need to put the heavier duty or clutch in here. Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Since we're here, let's pull the flywheel off right away. Woo! Puts a little bit of work on the old DeWalt. You'll notice I did not put a stud in this one, even though this is heavier than what that pressure plate was. That's because this is doweled to the flywheel, so they don't usually just fall off of there. That being said, don't stand with your toes underneath it. Okay, so the bolts are all out now. I can use that dowel as a handle to get this thing off. And I should be able to just kind of jiggle it a bit, and it should work it off the dowel. Come on. It's getting pretty loose, but it's not quite coming off. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, I'm trying to show off to all my YouTube friends. Come off of here. Ooh, that thing is stuck. Try again here. We'll just give it a little bit of persuasion here. Wow. This one's not used to that. There we go. There we go. Oh! Oh, it surprises you every time that comes off. Alright, there's our rear main seal, and you can see with it being wet here, then you can tell that that seal has been leaking down, and we don't want engine oil all over our clutch. So that's going to have to get fixed. We'll get a new rear main for it, and you always do a rear main when you do a clutch, because rear main seals do leak and you have to split the tractor to fix it. So if all you have is 4 more bolts left, you might as well. Plus we're going to get that flywheel machined anyway. So this all has to get cleaned up now. And as far as cleaning things, this housing has to get cleaned up too. But first I'm going to pull those release bearings out of there, take this stuff all apart. So here's another look at all this other stuff, what the pressure plate looks like. The traction clutch is just, it's not even that bad. Now the flywheel's grooved a little bit, so yeah, we better get it machined. I mean, we're going to get a new kit with all this stuff anyway, so we might as well do everything properly.